to tell you about one of my standby pencils that I use, and I've used this pencil for a really long time. The brand is Marco Raffine or Raffine. See, I'm clearly not a spokesperson for the company because I don't know how to pronounce the pencil. Let's take a look at a value scale that I've drawn with the pencils down here. So what I've done for all of these reviews is I've done a little bit of hard pressure shading, a line, and then a little bit of light pressure shading. And what you're going to notice the most out of all of these videos that I do for you on different pencils is that your softer pencils have a much more speckled texture. Don't mind me, I'm just going crazy over here. It's not pixelated, it's like old graphite. So they're speckly. And then as you get into your harder pencils, now this set only has an 8B all the way through to a B. Then it has the HB, the F, the H, and the 2H. So it doesn't have very many of the harder end of the spectrum in this set. But when you get to these harder pencils, you'll notice that rather than being speckly, they're more what I call stripy, or they're lines between them. So this is a case, I usually buy these individually, and you can get these at Jerry's Artorama or Jerry's Artorama online. And the reason that I use these the most is that there's a Jerry's Artorama near my studio, and I can buy them individually. So I tend to go through the 4B and the 5B and the 3B quite often, so I can just get those one-on-one as I need them. This time I decided to buy the set. I've had students carry this set quite a bit. This case is probably the flimsiest case of all of the cased pencils that I've seen before. And what I've noticed with my students is that oftentimes the hinges get loose, like there's a little wire in there and it shakes loose, and then you can't actually get this to hinge closed anymore. You're also going to notice that it's really wobbly, like it can bend like that. And with this case, if you drop it on the floor, they are all going to come out. So this is not the best case that I've ever seen if you're wanting to carry something around. But it's nice to have these particular pencils. I do tend to use more of the soft pencils so that they have more of the soft pencils and fewer of the hard pencils, I think is quite nice. Then I drew for you a pair with each of the different pencil sets. So here's the pair that I did. I did this on a little sketchbook that I have. And this paper is very soft, so it compresses really easily, and there's not much tooth to it. So I decided to use the 6B, and the 6B on this one, generally on my sketchbook paper, feels like it's very soft. On the squishier, softer, smoother sketchbook paper that I used here, this is sort of like a little travel journal that I use. It felt like it compressed the paper much more quickly. So you can see that where I got the darker values, the paper is really compressed. And so if I were to have to try to lighten it, that would be a little bit difficult. These pencils, I would say, are very reliable. They're consistent every time I buy them. Occasionally, I think the last two that I had were a 3B and a 5B. And each one of them had a little grain of something that was running throughout the entire lead. And it made it so that it was rough and it caught the page. You can hear when that happens. So there's like a little scratchy sound that's louder than the pencil itself. But generally speaking, this is a nice pencil. The lead is glued to the wood sandwich, so that makes it easier to sharpen. It is something that when you sharpen the softer pencils, you will have a more difficult time doing so because they're softer. They're going to break more frequently in the pencil sharpener. But this is an inexpensive set. It was $20 for the 12. It's about $1.60 per pencil. And I find that they are good standby, reliable, and something that I go to a lot. So hopefully that review will help you out. Let me know if you've discovered other problems or benefits to these pencils. I'm curious to hear what your experience is. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, LZM Studio, where I frequently release quick tips and all kinds of different ideas about drawing. Also check out my Facebook and my Instagram page. I like to show photographs of my artwork, of my students' artwork, and share funny stories from my students on those pages. And then check out my website, lzmstudio.com, where you're going to find more inspiration and full-length, detailed tutorials.